that was once posted on CRE TV but then deleted minutes later, silenced voices, threats from Atanga NG, all of this raising grave questions about the future of leadership in La République du Cameroon. 8 days after the presidential election, the National Vote Counting Commission has announced what many saw coming long before ballots were even casted. Paul Biya, aged 92, the possible winner once again, with 53% of the votes ahead of opposition candidate Isachiroma Bakari, who reportedly scored 35 according to the predictions. But the announcement has done little to calm the storm brewing across the country. Opposition leader Isachiroma had only days earlier declared victory himself, citing his own tallies that placed him at a 60%, a figure briefly published by several online portals before they were mysteriously deleted. We wonder if that was coincidence or censorship in clear display. Now, the timing and manner of those deletions have only deepened suspicion that the regime's machinery of control remains firmly intact. For many, this looks less like an election result and more like a carefully rehearsed performance. The same old acts with the same old ending. And when Atanga NG, the colonial minister of territorial administration, issues threats to anyone who dares question the results, it only reinforces what Cameroonians already know. Dissent is not tolerated, truth is not welcomed, and power is not earned. It is seized, recycled, and guarded with fear. So the question arises, is corruption in La République du Cameroon now too deep to die? When portals disappear, when voices are silenced, and when official results seem to exist only to confirm the ruler's will, what meaning does democracy still hold? After 42 years of uninterrupted rule, the regime continues to reproduce itself, the same faces, the same decrees, the same excuses. The masses, battered by poverty and inflation, are left to wonder whether leadership in their country is a service or a lifetime inheritance. Now, as protests flare and clashes erupt in major cities, the people's frustration is clear. But so is their exhaustion. They have seen this movie too many times, elections that promise hope and outcomes that deliver despair. And yet the resilience of the people persists because beyond the statistics and the proclamations, a truth remains unspoken. The day will come when the old order collapses under the weight of its own lies. Until then, the world watches a 92-year-old Paul Biya crowned once more, not by the will of his people, but by the iron grip of a system that has long mistaken fear for loyalty and silence for peace. Which leaves us with a question. With Paul Biya once again showing, according to news, declared as the possible winner at age 92, which means he has been declared to win for another 7 years, meaning he's going to, if any chance at all, leave power at 99. Now, despite widespread claims of rigging, deleted online results, and open threats from Atanga NG to anyone who questions the outcome, how can the people still place any faith in what is called democracy within La République du Cameroon? And at what point does the constant recycling of power stop being politics and become a full-blown cause for the people to revolt? Seeing the fact that Atanga NG has silenced every other person who declared themselves winner, but has allowed this speculation of Paul Biya being the possible, emerging as the possible winner, allowing that to spread. What does this really tell about the La République du Cameroon's administration at this point? Barrister Mbeseha.
I think the administration of Cameroon is so unique around the world that I've done a lot of reading and read history and other things. It is so difficult to find an administration like that. Again, talking about elections, there have never been elections in Cameroon. From Mahijo to Paul Biya. The first time they attempted to hold elections was in 1992. But remember that by 1992, Paul Biya was already 10 years old in office. He already clocked 10 years. He got there in 1982. And so under normal circumstances, like in most African countries, he would have already served 2 terms and That was enough. He would never have been a candidate anymore. But yet he became a candidate. Somebody defeated him. They played it out. They don't even hide it. They robbed that guy of his victory. They locked him up under a state of emergency and silenced him until he died. Why is Atanganji doing this? That's the one. That's the principal actor. Atanganji is just one of the several buffoons they call ministers. But again, why are they doing all this? They are doing it because of self-greed. Because among those so-called ministers of Paul Biya, Atanganji will look like one of the youngest, not in terms of age, but in terms of office. He got it in 2018, after the last elections. But there are ministers in Paul Biya's government who have been there for 30 years, who have been in office for 30 years plus, serving as ministers. The office of minister in Cameroon, like anywhere else, goes with it goes with money. It goes with all what we have with it. People have owned this thing for 30 years. It's difficult to become normal human beings by going back to the cartier and living like you and me. It's very difficult to become normal human beings. Drive to the hospital and be treated there. And so they allow themselves there, not for the purpose of the people, the purpose of self-greed. We talk about the rigging. You find the people demonstrating in the streets. Who rigged the elections? The people who are in somewhere saving at the discretion of Paul Biya, appointed by some presidential decree. They are their sisters, their wives, who want to maintain these offices. But again, it is interesting. It's not alone. There are people who are serving in Paul Biya's government, who are normal civil servants who are supposed to take retirement at the age of 65. They are older than 65. They have not gone on retirement. There is somebody who calls himself the Supreme Commander, the chief, the commander of the Cameroon Army, who is supposed to have taken retirement more than 40 years ago. He's 86 or so, I'm told. He's sitting there wearing those uniforms. He can barely stand. He can barely even stand up. And he's the commander of the army. That looks interesting. There's another guy who is supposed to be a police chief. The policemen are supposed to be agile, run down the streets and catch thieves, run down the place and investigate people. These young boys, who can get there 18 to 15 or to 25. Who is their boss? Their boss is a certain Baraga, who is 86 years old. He can barely stand. What does an 86-year-old man want there? What does a 90-year-old want, retired general want in office, other than just the prestige of sitting there without standing up? If a bomb were to fall in the office, they can barely stand. They go on work. They go on tricycles. There's somebody who will declare the result of the election called Atangana. This is a magistrate. He goes now on stretchers. See his pictures. He walks on stretchers. He's 80-something years old. Well, this looks like the curse of the century. Because I don't imagine any other administration in the world that is littered with helpless, old, dying people. And so it is misfortune. I don't know what punishment, what crime the Cameroonians committed to merit this wonderful eternal punishment from God. Because if the gods still live, why are they not listening to this plea of these young people in Cameroon? Not Ambazonian. In Cameroon, they have about 20 million, most of them young people. Why are they being punished with this sort of terrible things? If God is alive, we can only urge him in prayers to rescue the people. The people are limited. They don't have much to do. They can only go to the street. And when they go to the street, what happens? They are sprayed with cannon, with water to disperse them to go back home. They are pushed around, using the money they have worked as young men and paid taxes to punish them for opening their mouths to challenge the status quo. And so that's the most unfortunate thing that has happened. Again, again, let any other human beings in Cameroon have also the opportunity to enjoy those facilities, to enjoy those privileges. What you enjoy as a president, as a minister, as a prime minister is a privilege. It's not a right. And so that is what it is. Cameroon is cursed, but I've said on many occasions before, they are cursed. They have the government they deserve. If they decide to push out Paul Biya this night, he will go. You will have to leave. So we can only encourage them to fight. Now that their eyes are open, fight for what you want. Prayers on top of the mountain will not help you until you fight the war yourself. Then God will bless your efforts in the struggle, in the fighting. Then you go to pray in the cathedral, go pray in the mosque. That alone will not bring Allah from heaven to come and help you. You will have to fight, and then Allah, God, shall bless your efforts to push away these dead people living. Over to you.
No truer words were said, Barrister Mbeseha. And indeed, I think the election with the whole tensions going on in Cameroon has brought the world to not only see the fraudulence in with La Republique's election, but also the legitimacy of Ambazonia's struggle for self-determination.